Today I've got a Warlock class that shows its power differently. Instead of staying comfortably in the tried and tested Eldritch Blast, this one lives in the fires of molten steel and the chaos of molding metal. And I'd love to show you why this Warlock forges your power in a way you wouldn't expect. Welcome to My Wife Is VMC. I'm V and I've been running and designing D&D Homebrew for 10 years. Now you might be thinking, doesn't the Battlesmith already cover this niche? Heck, even Xanathar's Guide already had the Forge Cleric. But those classes don't really interact much with the existing crafting rules. The Battlesmith does its own thing with a Steel Defender and martial proficiencies. Meanwhile, the Forge Cleric either grants a +1 to something, or just gives you an item via magic. So what if a subclass didn't just flavor forging, but actually did it? That's where the Forge Warlock comes in. Today, I'll be talking about its core features like how it uses 5e's existing crafting mechanics and lets you put a twist on conventional weapons. I'll also help you understand how the features work with a level 9 Warlock build and a sample backstory. And of course, I'll showcase its combat-oriented abilities through my signature action cam, cause this subclass ain't just about crafting. If that sounds good to you, well, are you comfy at the table? Let's take pop culture to pen and paper with today's Husbando Homebrew, The Forge. Let's build a level 9 Warlock. We'll go with a human species and the Wayfarer background to get that charisma bonus. This lets us get the lucky feat from the background and the tough feat from the species, which ties in nicely for our backstory later. You get 2 ASIs once you hit level 9, and I'd recommend pushing charisma up to 20. Using point buy, the stats look like this. At this level, you have 7 invocation options to choose from, which gives us more than enough space to get the weapon-focused ones. That means Pact of the Blade, Thirsting Blade, and definitely Life Drinker. You still have space for utility invocations, and I'd recommend taking Devil Sight and Eldritch Mind. Your remaining slots are flex options, so you can take pretty much anything at this point. And with all that in place, let's take a look at the Forge's subclass features and dive into the sample backstory. Bastion lays down a greatsword wrapped in cloth on a scorched part of the city's crafting quarter. He finished this piece in the span of a few minutes. A weapon like this usually takes hours, if not days, to say nothing of the expensive raw materials needed to craft it. But Bastion has something special. A magical forge hammer that lets him enter the plane of creation called the Steel Forge. This place has everything he needs. Raw materials and time. It's not limitless by any means, but it certainly gives him advantages over regular smiths. Never in his wildest dreams did Bastion think he would become a weaponsmith. He grew up in this city, just another orphan boy of a nation worn thin by constant war. No dreams, no aspirations, no future. But his master dazzled him with the ways of fire and steel. But despite his efforts to catch up, the years of malnutrition and squalid living conditions sapped away at his strength. But this hammer, it's something special. It gave him the power to craft weapons and armor just like his master did. Its magic even lets Bastion perform incredible smithing feats that would have taken years of trial and error. He lengthened this greatsword's grip for extra reach and used precise hammering to compensate for any loss of structure. And with a bit of his own magic, he could empower his crafts with an arcane sharpness only court artificers could accomplish. But this hammer's powers are only a fraction of its true significance. It's a remnant of his master's spirit, seared into this well-worn tool and bequeathed upon him in his dying moments. Bastion's memorial is interrupted by the arrival of the local guard, carrying with them painful memories. He remembers the local thugs hired by a rival craftsman to destroy his master's forge. It ended in an explosion that took his life, and he sees each and every one of these thugs' faces underneath their helmets, amused to see his return. They seem to have improved their standing over the years, as they now don the colors of the city and wear the symbol of the rival craftsman's house. One of them takes the memorial sword, mocking its quality as much as its creator. Bastion stands up to face his demons. This was a long time coming. Welcome to the action cam! Top of the round, the tough guy takes point and closes in, noting the weapon's length and grip and maintaining a farther distance from the Warlock. He attacks Bastion with his own greatsword, missing an intended feint but catching the Warlock with a critical follow-up slash that cuts through Bastion's armor of fire. The tough guy is impressed with the weapon's quality, calling its construction strange, but decides to keep it for himself as a trophy. Bastion wouldn't suffer this insult, as he summons the weapon to his hand using Call Armament. The weapon appears in a flash of embers as it glows with unique arcane symbols as soon as he grips it. As a bonus action, he summons his Forge's Hammer and uses Temper Steel on his reacquired weapon. Using the blazing weapon, he cuts into one of the thugs, slaying him with one flaming strike from his tempered blade. Activated by the hammer's magical tempering, the weapon conjures molten steel along its blade as Bastion flings it towards the rest of the thugs in a 15-foot cone. The other two guards cry out in agony as their flesh melts into their armor. The tough guy is similarly drenched in heated metal as he feels his skin bubble under the intense heat. As the armored thug gets his bearings, he stifles a cowardly shriek upon seeing his allies in a melted heap around him. He disengages and makes a run for it. Bastion walks towards the thug, using Call Armament once more to summon a glaive, one that he altered with the lengthened shaft and heavy materials, making for a long and potent slashing implement. Using Tempered Steel once more, he heaves its flaming blade onto the thug. Similar to the greatsword, Bastion placed a magical alteration on this glaive that lets him rend the armor of his enemies. The flaming glaive reverberates on contact, reducing the thug's armor against Bastion's succeeding attacks. The cowardly man offers gold for his life, but Bastion only takes payment in blood. The Forge Warlock's features might look a little beefy, but that's because there's a full mini-system baked into its features. In terms of balance, it can keep pace with an Eldritch Blast Warlock,
Eldritch Blade,
with Agonizing Blast if you're using one-handed weapons. But if you want to pull ahead in terms of output, dedicating your crafting time to a beefier weapon like a greatsword will really show some numbers. Still, the Forge Warlock's true potential really shines when you arm your other party members with your own creations. Remember to grab the Forge Warlock in the shop links in the description. Purchasing any of our products helps us a lot, and we really appreciate any support you send our way. But if you want to try it first, you can get the subclass up to level 6 completely free. Just find the free light version link on the shop page. By the way, did I mention that the document has a section where you can use weapon alteration as a separate system? That comes free too! If you'd rather support us in other ways, dropping a like helps us reach more viewers. And if you want to go further, consider joining our Mallard community. The $1 and $3 tier already gives you some hefty discounts. But at $5 and up, you get access to every shop item for free. We also have an exclusive Discord community in case you want to hop in and chat with fellow D&D homebrew players. Last but not least, being a member or top supporter puts your name among these magnificent mallards you see on screen right now. MC, please honor our esteemed mallards.
Hello! It's the Mallard Quen. Thank you for watching our video, and an especially huge thank you to our Mallard Royal Guards. Storm Starshine, Yggdrasil 88, Bryant LW, Coinop 1989, KV, Piku, and Cosplay Battle. Of course, an extra special thank you to our Mallard Nobility, Hectic Planet 07. Thank you all so much again, and hope to see you next time.
If this is your first time here, hello, welcome, hope you had a good time. We actually have a bunch of content related to Japanese tokusatsu shows like Kamen Rider. Most recently, we finished the last subclass for the Kamen Rider build series. If you want to catch up with that, you can check out the playlist right here. Until then, my wife and I hope you have a great day ahead.